the 7th of April 2020, Tuesday of Holy Week. Today I'd like to share a poem with you from the book by Janet Morley called The Heart's Time. It's a poem written by Robert Frost. It's called Fire and Ice. Fire and ice. Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. This famous poem of deceptive simplicity is not a straightforwardly religious poem, but its insights are relevant to the passions and the destructive impulses of the events of Holy Week. As Jesus engages in controversy with his enemies in Jerusalem, with the prospect of death ahead of him. It's a witty poem, and the impulse is to laugh when you first hear it. However, it lingers in the mind and becomes much more sinister than funny on further reflection. The tone is first conversational, then bitter. The jolting repeated end rhymes help to make the poem amusing, but also brings great emphasis to certain hugely destructive ideas. The poem begins by apparently contrasting two contemporary scientific theories about the future of the planet over aeons of time. Is it gradually getting warmer, or will the Earth perish eventually in another global ice age? But there are other undercurrents, since the speculations might equally well be about the nature of the afterlife, specifically the nature of hell. The next two lines definitely wrench the references away from neutral scientific theories into the personal hell that can be experienced as a result of disappointed or betrayed feelings. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. The narrator conveys his bitterness by ironically still using the moderate phrases of academic debate. I hold with those who favor, as if this was just still an objective inquiry. With an equally objective tone, he then posits, as if it potentially made any sort of sense, an absurdity, but if it had to perish twice. Then he lapses again into the personal knowledge that underlies the poem. I think I know enough of hate, before once again positioning an ironic but moderately phrased proposition about its destructive power, which would suffice. This tight-lipped statement with the understated word, which nevertheless rhymes savagely with ice, implies massive repressed anger. The overall implication is that the experience of burning, thwarted desire has turned to an all-consuming hatred. Just as the narrator's world has ended because of disappointment in desire, so his subsequent icy fury will be sufficient to destroy another's world. His own capacity for compassion or forgiveness is frozen beyond recall. The poem may begin to remind us of Dante's vision of hell. In the seventh circle, the violent are punished with fire. In the ninth and deepest circle are the traitors like Judas, who are depicted as frozen in ice. What began as a piece of witticism has turned into a carefully honed exploration of how humans destroy and betray one another. The implied personal experience on which the poem is based suggests a more worldwide application of this anatomy of sin. The question I leave you with: how much do you know about your own capacity for hatred and cruelty? Amen.